Right, we shall discuss about demand guarantees today, and that is performance and performance guarantees in a bit of a nutshell. And mainly, I will focus on shipping guarantee. Uh, if possible, I'll give a note as well. Uh, and after that, we'll try and attempt some few questions from the past paper that I have given from March 2018 to 2019. I think I gave a few papers. I think I have uploaded the papers also for you so that you need bother to buy those. You should be able to get the past papers printed, at least the relevant question that I'm talking of. Right. So good afternoon, everybody. And guarantees. These are international guarantees I intend discussing, not the local guarantees that we do usually in the bank. Guarantees are two kinds, demand and now I have given a handout to you all already on the indirect financial facilities. So go through that. So in a very concise form of heads of topics, I have given certain illustrations, but I will try to explain this a few things so that you could get an idea of what these guarantees are. These guarantees are governed in trade by a set of rules called Uniform Rules for Demand Guarantees. Uniform Rules for Demand Guarantees. If I abbreviate those, it's called commonly as URDG. And their publication number 758. URD 758. So URD 758 article by article they will not tested, but at least there were occasions that based on very famous and common articles they have what you call question. So this is the governing set of rules the demand guarantees are, or the counter guarantees. Demand guarantees or the contract guarantees. If I take in a simple format, this is how it works. So there's a customer, we'll name the customer, okay, we'll say a customer or a person has given a contract to another person, that is a customer of his going to be. Contractual obligation, right? So this B is supposed to undertake he's the contractor, say we do. He is the person who is actually have to undertake the contract, the commitment of the contractual contract, that's what you call the contractual obligation, on behalf of his customer A. So to choose this particular customer, he will shop around, right, and bid for what you call contractors. So we'll come that later. So these are chosen approved customer as far as the A is concerned. So the B has to fulfill the contractual obligation or the commitment, and also he has to make A what do you call satisfy, or has to comfort A with the backing of the promise. Now, for that, whether he will repudiate the contract or whether he will halfway, if he try to dump and go, he will suffer a loss. Therefore, A will insist the B to get him a performance guarantee. Performance guarantee. Now, Before selecting B, A may have, search few people and requested them to bid the contract, right? And for that matter, A has, shortlisted a few and selected B, and then B has to give a bid guarantee or a tender bond before. That is, after accepting the bid, there could be a tendency that he will not perform. So therefore, he has to give a bid bond or a bid performance or a bid guarantee on behalf of A, right? Usually the bid bond or the tender bond is about 5% or 10% on the contract value, right? If the contract value is $1 million, he didn't give a bid bond for 1 million. 5% or 10% of the contract value, he has to give a bond. How is he going to give the bond? When all we discussed, bond in the sense a guarantee, and that guarantee could be hold the court of law. If he has prepared here in the contract, he can make a claim. The claim is a valid claim. So subsequent on the bid bond only the performance must come, because after winning the bid or giving the bid bond, there could be what you call hindrance by B not to perform, right? He might evade. So therefore, he has to follow up with the performance bond after that. The performance bond will go from 10% to 15 to 20% of the contract value. Right? Now, whatever the guarantee is, we'll see how it works in a very simple format. I'm not going into detail supporting the articles in here. I'm just trying to give an outline of the mechanism of how the guarantees work. Now, we'll name this customer as a beneficiary, because he's the person who is going to benefit out of the contract. Beneficiary. Right? Now, this is the contractor. So, what he in his capacity, if he gives a performance bond or a tender bond for that matter, then it will be subjected to creditworthiness of B. So that will not hold any good for the customer A in another country. Now, you remember these are in two countries, right? These are in two countries. So for that matter, B will go to his bank at the capacity of the applicant. Right? His banker. Guarantee bank. So in other words, the bank is a guarantor, right? And will request this bank to issue a guarantee. You are taking down short notes, right? Issue the guarantee favoring beneficiary A. Right? Now this guarantee is straight away sent across to customer A in a different country. Now B is in a different country, in one country, and A is in another country. So if he fails to perform according to the contract, or if there is a delay in a contract or a willful delay, then the customer A will claim from the guarantor. Such guarantees are called demand guarantees. Such guarantees are called demand guarantees. Now we'll take the same scenario. where the beneficiary is there, and I will say applicant here. Now you know who the applicant is, the contractor. Is the contract of sale, that's a contractual obligation. In this case, the B says, I cannot claim from a bank where the bank is governed by a different set of laws, right? And therefore, you have to issue a counter guarantee instead of a demand guarantee so that I could claim in case of a default from my local bank. So then the applicant, what the applicant will do, that's the contractor. He will go to his bank, like the earlier case, that is the applicant's bank. Right? And request the bank to issue a counter guarantee. Issue a counter guarantee. So the bank will issue a counter guarantee. Remember, counter guarantees are issued to another bank. So this bank will issue a counter guarantee. Counter guarantee to the nominator bank. That is actually the beneficiary's bank. His bank. So what the beneficiary's bank will do? They will retain the counter guarantee with them and draw up another guarantee. In this guarantee, the beneficiary is B. In this counter guarantee, the beneficiary is this bank, B's bank, right? And the bank is the issuing party. So, as instructed by the applicant, bank has issued a counter guarantee to this bank. That guarantee has an expiry date. Usually, mostly the guarantees are not open-ended. There is an expiry date. So, on the strength of the counter guarantee, the bank will issue a guarantee to the to favoring B. Right. Now, B has a guarantee issued by his bank. So, if there's a repudiation or a breakdown of the contract, we needn't worry about claiming from this bank, which is unknown to him. Especially not the bank I'm referring to, the legal entity. So the B will claim from his bank. B will claim from his bank. So when the claim comes, what the B's bank will do, they will claim from the counter guarantee which they have received from this bank. Right? That's what you call. I didn't give the definition of the the counter guarantee. That is how the counter guarantees work. Right. Now you have the beneficiary here and the applicant. So there's a contractual obligation by the applicant as requested by B for a contract. We'll say contract value is $1 million. Usually the international guarantees are issued for high value, right? It's about more than $500,000. We hardly see international guarantees are issued for $100,000 or $200,000. These are for big projects that we do issue. So now for him to, kick off with the contract, he might need some money, right? So what he will do, the first option he has is, he will go to his banker and try to borrow. Because once he performs the guarantee, not the guarantee, but once he performs the contract, he will get 1 million or little less than 1 million, say. So based on that, he will go to his banker. But sometimes the banker might deny his request because his limit has already either expired or gone up to the brim. So therefore, he won't be able to go to his bank, or maybe there would have been some kind of defaults that he has, not prompt very much on his commitments. He may have paid the bank, but with numerous reminders sent by the bank with delays. So therefore, the bank may have reluctant to advance it. So the only option he has is, he will go back to his customer and ask for an advance payment. So we'll say advance payment is 10% of the contract value. That is 1 lakh. So right. So $100,000 he has to pay to beneficiary. So he will go to his banker and request the bank to remit the money. Of course, the bank will ask for the underlying transaction. Once the bank is convinced, bank will execute the payment order. You remember MT 103. That's the payment order. The bank will send across. So once he gets the 10% of the contract, what happens if he doesn't perform after that? So the bank is exposed for that matter, or the customer is exposed. If the bank is exposed, if the bank has finance, customer is exposed if the customer has financed that. Because he can come to the bank and say, here, look, give me an advance and remit this money. So there will be a loan account will be booked, or the loan outstanding will be booked in B's ledger. Otherwise, customer will tell the bank, you debit my account and send across. Then the customer is exposed if the applicant, or in this case, the contractor, did not perform. So therefore, to avoid that, to make a grip the contractor to the advance payment, the beneficiary will say, okay, send me an advance payment guarantee. Advance payment guarantee. Right? Advance payment guarantee. So what the bank will do, applicant will do, same procedure. He will go to his bank, request the bank to issue a counter guarantee. Now this counter guarantee is an advance payment guarantee. So counter guarantee is not different form. When you receive a counter guarantee, you read and see whether it's advance payment or a performance bond or a bid guarantee. There are various types of retention guarantee. There are various types of guarantee. So once you read the guarantee, only we know now this is an advance payment guarantee. So based on the advance payment guarantee, this counter guarantee received by this bank, that is the applicant's bank, the B's bank will issue a guarantee. Right? So he has the advance payment guarantee now in his possession. Now he knows once he receives the advance payment, if he doesn't perform, he can make a claim and redress himself for that advance payment guarantee that he has foregone. Also, if the bank has finance, bank can claim. There's a little bit of a thing that you need to note down very carefully. I will dictate that. Say, if the advance payment, being remitted out of the customer's account, out of the customer's funds, then the advance payment guarantee has to be in favor of the customer. Then the advance payment guarantee should be in favor of the customer. Otherwise, the advance payment guarantee has to be in the bank's favor. Now, this is a common mistake that the banks do, right? Otherwise, the advance payment guarantee has to be in the bank's favor. I'll tell you why that is. When I say otherwise, that goes without saying. If you are a little confused, you can take it down in the parenthesis. Why I said otherwise means if the monies are remitted out of the bank's funds, if the bank has financed the customer, then obviously advance payment guarantee has to be in bank's favor. Why is that? If accidentally bank, in fact, usually when the bank issues guarantees, advance payment guarantees, usually in a big bank, for a day you issue about 50 to 60 guarantees. So in most of the guarantees, the advance payment guarantee the customer will meet. But one particular customer might say, I will not have funds, why don't you finance me? So if the bank has structured the guarantee to his favor, right, he can claim from the applicant. So without giving money also, he can claim. So that is fine. Then the bank exposure will be bank is exposed. That is why if the bank is funding, advance payment guarantee has to be in the bank's favor. Otherwise, it has to be in the customer's favor. And one more thing, the advance payment guarantee, in the advance payment guarantee, usually we include a clause. It's called it's a standard clause, right? Saying that this particular guarantee is being effective only after the receipt of the advance payment. Otherwise, what happens? If the advance payment guarantee is given to the beneficiary or to the bank for that matter, they can claim from the applicant without sending the advance payment also. So that is why we put that restrictive clause. You needn't worry about so much because I cannot explain the mechanism of the guarantee without saying that. In the rush, if there are any people who are handling guarantees to the international division, it could be useful for you all. Right. So this is the nutshell, and also you read the the handout that are given under title International Indirect Financial Facilities. Now we come to important thing. This of course I will try to dictate as far as possible. Otherwise, you might take it down jargon, right? Shipping guarantees. So I will explain what shipping guarantees first, and after the given dictation, you have to take it down very fast, right? Shipping guarantees like this. Now you remember how the goods are coming to Sri Lanka, right? In trade, goods are coming. Then simultaneously documents will come either to the customer or to the bank, right? Goods will come. Where the goods will come? To the buyer's country. Right? To the port, seaport, or to the airlines. Right. And the shipping documents will come either to the customer, direct customer in the sense the buyer, or to bank. If it's a correction document or a document to credit, document has to come to the bank. If it's open account, or if it's advance payment, or on consignment basis, it will go to the customer straight away. Either way, the shipping documents will have 3 sets of documents. There are plenty of documents already, could be categorized into 3 sets of documents. One set of documents are the commercial documents. The commercial documents means that, any document is a legally binding document. You don't have a characteristic of a financial instrument, right? The important document from here for this purpose, for the intent discussing, is the commercial invoice. The commercial invoice is a commercial document. Second one is the transport document. Right? Transport documents are various kinds. There are plenty of transport documents. If it is under sea freight, still we have 2 sets of transport documents. Right? One set of, if it is sea, right? One set of transport documents will have no title to the goods. Other set of transport documents will have a title. Example for this is a bill of lading. So we need a commercial invoice. Bill of lading we need, which has a title. In detail of this we have discussed, right? Then the third set of documents is the insurance policy or a certificate of insurance in case of an eventuality. So we will not have this for the moment. So the most important documents to clear the consignment is the commercial invoice and the bill of lading. These 2 documents have been given to 2 different distributions, and we will see how it goes. In the first session or the second session, I have discussed how the clearance will take place, and I will rush that so that I can pay you to what a shipping guarantee is. Right. Now the importer has just received the documents, the shipping documents. In that documents, you get a commercial invoice and a bill of lading. Right? So bill of lading is in mostly in 3 copies. Copies means 3 originals. Right? Mostly in 3 originals. So the customer will take 1 from here, then 2 left over. He will take 1 of the originals, bill of lading, and goes and surrender to the shipping agent. Now remember, these have been discussed, right? It's a refreshing thing for you all to understand how the trading process is going on. So out of the documents, he has selected the two documents, and that is a full set of bill of lading and the set of commercial invoice. From the full set, he will take one of the originals and goes and surrender to shipping agent. Once the bill of lading is surrendered, the shipping agent will give a very important document called a delivery order. Delivery order, commonly known as the DO. So now the customer has what? Commercial invoices. I said invoices because he has more than one copies. Now he has a delivery order. He has two more bill of lading also as well. This has become what? Invalid. According to bill of lading Act, if one of the originals be surrendered, the rest of the bill of lading, even though they caption as originals, they cease to be valid. So what is there in the hand or retained by the customer becomes invalid no sooner than he has surrendered an original bill of lading. So that is why we take the bill of lading in here as if that he has some documents. So he has commercial invoices now. Instead of the bill of lading, he has the delivery order. Order being given by the shipping agent to the customs or the post authority, requesting them to or ordering them to release the cargo to the consignee. The consignee is the importer now, right? Now he has a commercial invoice and the delivery order. These two documents he will go. Before that, he will bring the invoices. Actually, he brings the invoice and the bill of lading. After that, only he will go to the shipping agent. First, he will come to the bank and get it endorsed. The bank has to endorse. I forgot to tell you that. Bank has to endorse. Because there are instances, the bill of lading could draw to the order of a bank. Then the bank has to endorse on the reverse of the bill of lading saying delivery. If the applicant's name is B and Company, deliver to B and Company. Then only the B and Company can get the goods. So before going to the shipping agent and kind of thing, once he receives the shipping documents, he has to come to the bank. If the bill of lading is not consigned to him direct, if the bill of lading is consigned to him direct, he didn't come to the bank, right? So bank will endorse the bill of lading and the invoices. What invoices? Commercial invoices, right? So after that only he will go to shipping agent. So once he got the delivery order for the shipping agent, now he has the endorsed commercial invoices. So I will do a small alteration in here. We say endorsed commercial invoices plus the DO that he has. He will take these two documents and go to customs. Customs will tell him to pay the charges. What charges? Import duty and clearing charges. Clearing charges. And the goods will be released. And after that, simultaneously, they give a document called a customs declaration form. That's what they call the custom. Right. So you have been revise the whole process again. How the clearing process being done. Right. Understood well? Now we will come revert back to the original status again. If the goods come before the documents, and if the customer is in a mighty hurry to clear the goods without in the absence of the document, right? For many reasons. One reason is the main reason where the customer pushes the banks to allow them or give authority for them to, clear the consignment without having the documents in custody is to capture the market quickly as possible. If the goods are very sensitive in that nature, high volatile goods in case of price. Example, coconut oil, referring to Balka, coconut oil and sugar, rice are those categories, mainly on commodity trades. The other factor is sometimes the goods may be perishable items. It may be temperature sensitive or time sensitive. Then the customer cannot allow the goods to suffer until the documents come. And if the documents carry discrepancies, he will have another waiting delay until the bank sorts out on communication. So therefore, the customer will have to clear the consignment somehow because goods might suffer chemical compositions, then perishable items in that category, right? So then but he will have a problem because shipping agent will not give a delivery order unless the bill of lading is surrendered. So if the importer says no, you give me the delivery order, I'll make sure that I will what you call get you the bill of lading. Then the shipping agent will say, okay, give me a guarantee. You guarantee saying that you will give the bill of lading on a conservative time of time. Then I will give the delivery order. But from the customer's capacity, he won't be able to give a guarantee because the shipping agent will not regard his guarantee as a credit worthy. So that's why the importer, now we don't have the documents now, right? So we'll draw this picture again on the timeline. How he's going to, clear the consignment without the documents. Without the document. Now he doesn't have anything, right? So he comes to the bank. Who? The buyer. Now goods have come, huh? Goods have come already. He wants to clear the consignment. So he comes to the bank. He doesn't have a commercial invoice. Why the original documents have not come? He has only a pro forma invoice. Pro forma invoice. Pro forma. That's the only document that he has. Right? He will come to the bank and request the bank to issue a shipping guarantee. Shipping guarantee. Shipping guarantee. Right? So from that point onwards, we'll take a dictation, right? Right, take it down quickly. Title shipping guarantee. Say, in absence of receiving shipping documents, generally the importers may request their bankers to issue a shipping guarantee. To issue a shipping guarantee to the shipping agent. Shipping agent. To the shipping agent. If the transaction is not under LC, if the transaction is not under LC, within parentheses you can say example correction. If the transaction is not under LC, bank will require the following documents. Bank will require the following documents. Shippers indemnity. Not shippers, shipping agents. Huh? Shipping agents indemnity. Get the spellings right. INDEM NITY, indemnity. Shipping agents indemnity. Duly filled and signed by the importer. Pro forma invoice. Pro forma invoice. Copy of the bill of lading. Photocopy of the bill of lading. If it is not on lazy, bank requires a shipper's indemnity or shipping agent's indemnity. That indemnity has to be, there are certain provisions that fill the vessel's name, distribution of the goods, quantity, value, everything has to be written. Even the ship's or the vessel's name, port of loading, port of discharge, everything has been there in blanks. You have to fill. Who has to fill? The customer has to fill. And the customer has to sign also. Shipping guarantee form has to be signed by the customer. This is called the shipper's indemnity. Then pro forma invoice. Then the photocopy of the bill of lading is required. Right? And one more document. Banker's indemnity. So indemnity form is a blank form. Now, if the shipping agent's name is say Ceylon Ocean Lines, the indemnity form will not carry the title Ceylon Ocean Lines, but the indemnity form will have a draft done by the Ceylon Ocean Lines legal personnel, but it will not carry the title Ceylon Ocean Lines. Right? They are indemnity forms. So such indemnity forms you have to pick and fill, sign by himself, and should bring to the bank. He has a pro forma invoice too. Initially, when he contracted with his supplier, he may have got a pro forma invoice. It's a quotation. So that he has to bring. So the bank will check the pro forma invoice whether it has been assigned to him, and and the same supplies name is there, and whether the goods that he is referring to, saying that the goods are in the harbor, whether that performance is supporting the same kind of goods, quantity, value. Bankers in Delhi also we need it. That is, like the shipping agent, the banks also have a set of indemnity forms. In case of some issue comes in here, bank will have an exposure. To have the cover, bank will have a banker's indemnity without the bank's name on top of it. That forms will be given to the customer. Customer has to perfect and discharge his signature and bring. So these are the 4 documents that the bank will ask. Photocopy of the bill of lading. Also, it's not a must to issue a shipping guarantee, but since recently banks tend to ask a photocopy of the bill of lading, in advent of the entrepot trade, right? There could be a tendency that the goods will not come to Sri Lanka at all, right? So therefore, if the customer can give us a copy of the bill of lading, in the bill of lading from the port of discharge provision, we can check whether it's Colombo or Hambantota. Forget about the Hambantota for the moment, it's only for vehicles. Remember, for vehicles, you can clear by shipping guarantee, right? So it's Colombo then. So if the port of discharge says Colombo in the photocopy, then we know the goods have come. Otherwise, every time when we issue a shipping guarantee, bank will not employ a personnel to go and check the harbor whether this particular relevant goods have come for that matter, right? So the reason why that we take a photocopy of the bill of lading. Otherwise, if you refer to any textbook or any literature in trade to issue a shipping guarantee, you don't need a photocopy of a bill of lading. Just to make sure that we are very prudent and clever bankers, that we ask for a photocopy of a bill of lading. Right, and the bank's interest. So these are the 4 documents the bank will require. You have taken down, fine. If it is under LC, this is if the transaction is not under LC, right? Like collection. If it is under LC, in addition to the above mentioned documents, the customer has to give discrepancies accepted letter. Customer has to give a discrepancies accepted letter. I have seen some banks, especially the new interest in the market, and some 1 or 2 foreign banks, they have incorporated this discrepancy accepted letter, the format, into their banker's indemnity. If that's the case, don't need of a separate letter. Otherwise, you have to have a discrepancy accepted letter. That is, customer has to declare or customer has to confirm that he will accept all discrepancies whatsoever in case the original documents carry discrepancies, right? Remember the Article 5 of UCP? It says banks deal with documents, not with performance, neither with goods, right? Bank deal only with documents. So customer can buy that article and will come and clear the consumer under shipping guarantee with all 4 documents if the transaction is under LC, And when the documents come, if he sees that there are discrepancies, he will tell, why did you accept the document if you discrepancy? I will not pay. So having cleared the consumer endorser, he will not pay. Or he cannot wait like that because he will have an info again. But then it's a matter of going for an argument. So to avoid that, bank will ask for a discrepancy accept letter beforehand. It's true. If there are trade practitioners in here in the chat room, that all discrepancies the customer cannot accept. There are few discrepancies the customer cannot accept, right? I'm not talking about those. Don't worry about those things. In generally, discrepancies are acceptable or rejectable by the customer. So customer has to give this blanket cover to the bank before taking the shipping guarantee if the transaction is under an LC. Under an LC. Right. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 documents in case of collection, and you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in case of under LC. Right. Right. Now proceed with the what you call the paragraph, is the next paragraph. I hope that you have jotted down the documents one below the other. If it's under LC, not under LC, under LC. Right. If the transaction is under site, if its transaction is under site, if its transaction is under site, transaction could be only two ways to, it could be under site or users, whether under LC or not under LC, right? If the transaction is under site, bank will reserve a margin. Bank will reserve a margin. Reserve margin. And 10% of the invoice value. 110% of the invoice value, equivalent in rupees. 110% of the invoice value. That 10% is why, because the foreign currency fluctuation, by the time the documents come and retire the documents, the value of the rupee would have got depreciated. So you might tend to ask more money from the customer. So that's why the 10% or the 5% is there as a leeway. And there, additional to that, there could be handling charges, foreign bank charges, corresponding bank charges incorporated when the original documents come. So that is more than what we anticipate. So it's well covered with 10%, and that is why we take 110% margin. But for elite customer, for corporate clients, we can come down to 100% for that matter. But usually we take a markup of the invoice value. If it is site, if it is under users, bank will issue a shipping guarantee. Why I said issue? Now I didn't make a note on that, but you have to understand and try to keep that note somewhere there. Now the customers filled the indemnity and signed and brought it. So what the bank will do? Bank will make an endorsement on the what you call on the shipping guarantee, on the face of it, shipper's indemnity, on the face of the shipping agent's indemnity, and signs. The signature is a counter signatory. A lot of people think that the actual bank who issues a guarantee. It's not the bank. It's the customer who is issuing, but the bank is counter guaranteeing and giving a comfort so that the shipping agent will have a regard on the guarantee. Right? Right. So that part you have to creep in somewhere. So where was I? Right. If it is on the users, bank will not take a margin. Bank will issue a shipping guarantee in the same manner that I told you, free of payment. Free of payment. But put a square bracket, and say, however, now when I say however, I'm making a diminished clause to the statement or the preceding clause that I have made it, right? However, to issue a shipping guarantee, bank will have their own discretion. The customer cannot compel the bank to issue shipping guarantee, right? Just because the goods have come. Bank will use their discretion on that. To issue shipping guarantee, bank will have their discretion. Banks can go to the extent of denying issuing shipping guarantees for DA transactions, that is not under the users, for DA transactions. Alternatively, for an irregular customer, now don't get the misconception when I say irregular customer means I'm referring to not regular customer, not an elite customer, right? Not a I did refer to a clumsy customer, right? Irregular gives a meaning of a clumsy if you refer to the dictionary. But here the irregular means it's not a regular corporate clientele, right? So I didn't want to discriminate the customer saying that he's just a customer. I'm talking about a regular customer where he's not a what you call a corporate entity. So if it's an irregular customer, alternatively, right? Irregular customer, bank will take a margin. Bank will take a margin even though the transaction is DA. Even though the transaction is DA, but refund the money is held. But refund the money is held once the original documents are cited. Once the original documents are cited. We can close the bracket now. Now, on the strength of the shipping guarantee, the shipping agent will issue the delivery order. Right. Next para. In the shipping agent's indemnity, bank is ought to indemnify, OUGST. Bank is ought to indemnify. That's what the indemnity says actually, right? Ought to indemnify two points. One, bank authorizes the shipping agent to release the DO to the endorsed consignee. 2. Bank will ensure that it will surrender an original bill of lading. Surrender an original bill of lading. That's one only you have to submit. Surrender an original bill of lading. Once the documents are received, at a reasonable time, customer cannot challenge a bank asking what a reasonable time is. It's a bank practice. Usually the banks won't delay. That is the understanding that we do have. And the benchmark is when the bank responds, that the response time is the reasonable time. Right? If there are young bankers here, I don't know if the trade finance is done by the young ones, but they still, usually when the banks get a letter from a customer, within 3 working days, the reply should go to the customer. That's the standard. In trade, if there's a TEDx query or a SWIFT query received by the bank today, during the course of the business hours, it will be responded on the same day or within 24 hours. So nobody can say, once you give the SWIFT, give me the reply now. Now means reasonable time of 24 hours. Right? So any SWIFT query will be replied within 24 hours. Right. So bank will ensure that it will surrender an original bill of lading once the original documents are received at a reasonable time. So reasonable time in the sense is not being defined by Bernard, it's defined by the international standard banking practice. Right. So these are the two things being mindful by the bank officials and sign as a counter signature and take it down. If the bank fails, to deliver, to satisfy the about two points, then the bank is liable to the shipping agent $300% of the invoice value. 300% of the invoice value. Now, this also you have to take it in the correct context. Now, suppose if the bank has, endorsed and given to a wrong customer, bank has endorsed the shipping guarantee to the B customer, that is B Fernando, and the consign is belong to A Fernando. What will other B Fernando? So the bank has authorized the shipping agent to release the cargo. Now, original documents are not received. So until the original documents are received, goods belong to the seller, not to the buyer. So once the seller comes to know that his goods have been released, then the seller will find fault with the shipping agent for releasing the goods without his knowledge. So that will create a very bad reputation of the shipping agent. They might lose their license also. So therefore, bank will be directly liable up to 300. That's the maximum claim that the shipping agent can make a claim is 300% of the invoice value. 300% of the invoice value. If the invoice value is $1, they can claim $3. Now, when I say $3, again, there's a gray area here. Don't take it in black and white. Now, here what I said is up to 300% that they can claim means if they are loss and damage and whatever the district they have suffered because of the bank's blunder, they have to prove without beyond doubt that the damage of them are so much, right? If it is, say, if the damage was 200% of the contract value, for example, then the bank cannot, then the shipping agent cannot claim 300%, even though they have a leeway of claiming, right? They can claim only 200%. So get that concept very correctly, but you will not be tested on that. But remember the 300%. 300%. So this is why when the bank issues a shipping guarantee, in the bank's books, right? If the shipping guarantee, if the invoice value is 10,000, value of the consignment is $10,000, we pass an entry in the bank's book as guarantee outstanding as 30,000. In case of an eventuality, we have reserve, right? Right. Study well on that shipping guarantee. Now, so you have the past papers, I think, been uploaded. And the other day I noticed about 2 or 3 students had the paper source as well. So I think in 2018 paper we discussed up to question number 4, right? And I guess I said that I will, touch a revolving structure question, and if possible the for exam, right? And there's a small reminder. I don't know whether you are aware of it. On the first, not on the first, on Thursday. When is Thursday? Yeah, Thursday is first, right? Thursday we have a revision. So if you want, you can come, and if I'm talking about the students who missed the forex session or the revolving facility session initially, because I did in the very first sessions. If you have missed, you can join the class. We can come physically on the first, right? And I intend starting the class by 8 o'clock, goes up to 4:30 or 5 o'clock. That is on the first. I hope that you are aware of that. And just make don't say that you are going to come or not, but just let me know anybody who has missed the forex and the revolving facility or either of that completely. just make a make a comment on that so that I will have a rough idea and the names. And if you then of course I will advise you to come definitely, right? So I'll give about half a minute. Just tell me. All have come, right? Anybody who has missed the forex session and the revolving facilities thing, just let me know. I'll keep a tag and I'll take it to or else I will take it to conclusion that everybody have had come, right? Right. Okay. Since nobody responded, I will take it to granted that all the students in the forum now at the moment online have had come for the forex and the revolving facilities, and there will be conversion on that. Okay, question number 5 on March 2018 paper. Question number 5 on March 2018 paper. Right. Your bank is required to provide financial facilities from the FC view in US dollar. Briefly describing the reasons for each facility. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the facilities to be given in dollar form because it's a FC view, that is the foreign currency bank unit. You are going to convert it to rupees and show the limits are being earmarked in foreign currency itself. Right. So we try to attempt the sum. If anybody has attempted this sum before, such person also can comment here so that it will be assistful to me when I'm doing the sum. Or else I need to know one more thing also. Since I have only very few people online today compared to other days, I have taken into granted that you have followed the forex and the rural facilities with me from the beginning. Any one of you have a gray area? For such students also, I will advise you to come on the first, and I want you to make a comment if there's any. If you are silent, I will take it for granted you are thorough on that. Right. I'll give a few moments, but in the meantime, I will do this sum. A valued customer has negotiated an order for the export of certain goods to Italy amounting to 250,000. I'm reading the March 2018 paper, question number 5. To manufacture the goods for each shipment, they will have to import 2 kinds of raw materials, P and Q. Raw material P has to be imported under document credit payable at sign, and Q has to be imported under document credit payable at 60 days from the date of shipment. For each export shipment, raw materials requirement is 100,000 of P and 50,000 of Q. Imports LC have to be issued for the minimum value to cover the raw material requirement for a single export shipment. The customs duty and carrying charges for each shipment will be borne by the customer with his own funds. LCs for the import of raw materials P and Q have to be issued 2 weeks before the date of shipment. It takes further 2 weeks to receive the shipment date for the documents and the goods. The time taken to manufacture the goods is 3 months from the date of receipt of raw materials to Sri Lanka. Right. So we have to start from the last paragraph. The LCs for the import of raw materials P and Q have to be issued 2 weeks before the day of shipment. So one more thing I need to tell you. I'll take a minute of that. You'll be given, unless otherwise the format of the question is changed, you have to do 5 questions in 3 hours and 50 minutes time. That means you have 195 minutes. So 195 minutes, if you divide by 5, You have 39 minutes for one question. So if you can rehearse yourself, right? Do a question over and over again. Don't do lots of questions. Do one question. For example, do this fifth question over and over again, so that you will have your speed and accuracy, right? And because this question is tough, not this particular question, this what you call this area is tough, and you need to write the base of calculation as well, and therefore you need to practice so that you can, if you can, do this within 30 minutes time at least. Within 30 minutes time, then this nine minutes can come into the forex sum. Because forex sum is a bit sensitive, it's much easier than this, a bit sensitive, and the marks are given a little bit of an awkward way, not for the method, but for the answer. So therefore, you need to, revise once or twice and recalculate and see whether the answers are right. So give that 9 minutes to that. And from the MCQ also, you can save a lot of time. There are 10, provided that the MCQ set of this time also, you get 10 questions, right? So you will have 39 minutes for that also as well. So waste about 1 minute mostly for one question. So 10 questions will be 10. So give another 5 minutes, it will be 50. Another 5 minutes is 20 minutes. So you will have almost 20 minutes or 19 minutes precisely to go to the forex sum, right? But you have to reverse the forex sum also in the same manner so that you will have a good speed on the forex sum also as well. Why then you are pumping in there to have a recheck and over and recheck again, so that your two sums are perfectly right. That means you will get little less than 40 marks. If you do a mistake here and there, even you will get almost 40 marks. Almost 40 marks. So another 5 marks from URC, Incoterm, right? MCQ. From MCQ, you can guarantee if you study without my aid, you can take 6 marks, right? So that's how you get yourself passed, and you are fortunate to be for this exam, because still the pass mark is 45. It's going to get increased up to 51 next time, right? No, that's the suggestion only, right? You can have your own way of approaching it. That's how I thought it was good, right? Last paragraph once again, the LC for the report of properties P and Q had to be issued 2 weeks before the date of shipment. So this is your timeline. So LCs P and Q will issue. This is the shipment, 2 weeks. It takes further 2 weeks from the shipment date to receive the goods and documents. Another 2 weeks. Docs and goods. Time taken to manufacture the goods and export them is 3 months. Right. So it's 3 months from here. When the goods are being manufactured, export will take place. But the export is take place, you will have the document collated, and the document will be given to the banker to purchase. So the export bill proceeds will come in way of a purchase, EXPP, right? And the export bill is valued for US dollars 250,000, 250,000. First paragraph. And this will be sent on to the paying banker if it's under AC. it is the issuing bank. If it is not done the LC, if it is the remitting bank. So either way, the paying banker will make sure that the reimbursement given after 90 days. First paragraph once again, because the export piece is an order, the tenor of the DA is 90 days. Other further 3 months from here. So this timeline, right? To make things easy, we'll try to mark the months. So you have an assumption now, 4 weeks is to 1 month. The sum has stated there, so therefore you have to start saying assumption 4 weeks equal to 1 month, right? And the month means a 30-day month. So those are the assumptions that you make. So if this is January, then this is February. First January, then this is 1st February, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. February to 3 months from February is May, 1st May. 3 months from May means August. Right? Now, moving up to second paragraph, it says, raw material P has to be imported under documented credit payable at site. Right, this site. Q has to be imported under documented credit payable 6 days from the date of shipment. Right, this is 60 days from date of shipment. That's the term period of the users. Right. Next paragraph. For each export shipment, LC raw material requirement is 100,000 of P. $100,000 P. And 50,000 of Q. Importers shall be issued for the minimum value to cover the raw materials required for single export shipment, right? So looks like everything we have plotted in the timeline, right? If I have done a miss, please make a comment on that. I'm also looking at the question and telling you. I could be telling that I also do a mistake. So this is a timeline, right? So you hope that you have taken down the timeline. Basket realizes to master account on 1st of August. Right. So if you have any issue up to this point, just make a comment. Right. So we'll have LC outstanding, test the LC outstanding for P and Q. LC P. Remember, it's a site, huh? Site. LC for the raw material Q is a user sales. Right. So January, we open LC for 100,000. February 100,000. March 100,000. Likewise goes down, and the documents come in February. So I told you, when the documents come, the indirect liability gets transferred or converted into a direct liability. So this is the conversion that I have shown. The outstanding is a negative balance. So outstanding get depletes when you get the documents. So you have to credit the LC outstanding account and debit the bill outstanding account. But in the case of a site, even though the bill outstanding account get debited in real life, we don't give a credit facility because at site, on demand, customer has to pay. Right? So here straight away, I will draw up a loan account. That is short-term import loan. Short-term import loan. That will be booked in 1st February for 100,000. Right? So there will be another booking in 1st March for 100,000. Here. There will be another booking in 1st April for 100,000. This one. And there's a tendency that we see as is that indefinitely we are granting loans. But the export bills are getting purchased in the month of May. In the month of May. So after May, we don't intend purchasing because the purchase will come. Month of May, we start to purchase. Then June, you get purchase. July, you get purchase. Then the bank will purchase again in August. Like that, it goes on continuously. So the loan account will get null after April. So the 1st May, export proceeds will come. So that means bank will have to grant loans only up to 3 import shipments. 3 import shipments. Right? February, March, April. Next one, if the bank try to grant, that will get null with this. June will go with this. Right? So the base of calculation you can take it down. Now you know how to take it down the base of calculation. Still, if you have an issue, you have to let me know. So base of calculation, keep a little space. You have draw the timeline now, the T accounts, base of calculation there. And what is the outstanding in here? Here, any given time, that's only 100,000. So here, revolving AC facility for this purpose, that's for the raw material P, bank will give 100,000. Not bank will give, bank will earmark a limit of 100,000. Right? And the loan, 3 into 100,000, that is 300,000 or 0.3 million. Right. Then users LC. In 1st January, bank open LC for 50,000. 1st February, 50,000. Documents will come in 1st February of 50,000. Therefore, the limit will be 50,000. Right? For this base of calculation, there are a little bit of additional clause we need to mention. If I have forgotten, I will tell you, but then you have to take it down the way that we have done earlier. It's a user's LC. Then what is the must that you have to have the facility? The acceptance facility. Acceptance facility. Right? So you have to mention, since it's a user's LC, bank have to grant a acceptance facility. That little part you have to incorporate, and because of that, you will get an additional 1 mark. Right. So you have to have a bill outstanding for the users. That's what you call acceptance. So the acceptance account behaves and getting booked in 1st February for 50,000. 1st March, 50,000. 1st April, 50,000. Now we need to see when the bill is getting matured, that we need to go and check the tenor period. It says 60 days from the date of shipment. Make a double check on that, because if you do a mistake, everything goes haywire. So make a double check and see whether the tenor I have written is right. It's actually 90 days, not 6 days. So I done a mistake in there. It's 90 days. 90 days from the date of shipment. Now this is right. Right? So date of shipment is where from here. So the tenor has to be counted or determined not from the date of receipt. From here the 3 months is 3 months means 90 days, 3 months no, is straight away first May. Now here you have a fraction of a month. Now there's a little bit of a catch. That's why I put 1 here, 1st February, 1st January like that. Now here we have to, the shipment date we have to say as 15 Jan. 15 Jan. Right? Then here it will be 30 Jan, because we don't have 31st January, we have only 30. So 30 Jan means 1st February. Right? So 1st February, 1st May, 1st August, that is all right. Here only we have the issue, 15 Jan. So then from here, 90 days you have to count. That is 15 February, 15 March, and 15 April. 15 April. 15. Right? From 15 Jan, 3 months from 15 Jan means 15 January to 15 February, 1 month. 15 February to 15 March is 2 months. 15 March to 15 April is 3 months. Why 3 months? Because the tenor is 90 days. Right. Now we need to see the outstanding in here at any given time, the maximum outstanding, so the bank could grant acceptance facility for the customer. You can't have infractions. So you have to round up. Right? That's the only thing that you need to bother. So 1st February is 50,000. In 1st March is 50,000 twice. 1st April, 50,000 thrice. Right? Then what happens? Then 1st May. Right. So in between this, 1st April to 1st May, this comes in. This comes in. Right? So from 1st February, 1st March, 1st April, then before 1st May dawns, this goes off. Right? So in that way, that's only 2 months. Understand? So that part you can take it down. Until again, 1st February, 1st March, 1st April, 1st May, 1st June, like it goes. And this get what you call matured. The 1st February document get matured or the bill get matured in 1st April. Now when you put your T account, we are worried about the figures only, right? So we have 50, 50, 50, 50 like that. So 1st February 50, 1st March 50, 1st April 50, 1st May 50. So before 1st May dawns, it passes the 15th April. That means this 50 goes off with this. So that means remaining is 250. So maximum limit the bank will consider of giving is $0.1 million. So this particular acceptance account get null or the void on the 15th of April. So that means the bank has to finance the acceptance account to get null. That's how this credit came. So the bank has to open another single account 2 now, for the users, and it gets booked in February. Sorry, 15th April, 50,000. 15 April, 15 May, 50,000. Like that. But the processes are coming in 1st May. 1st May, EXBP. Right? So we'll put another one. 15 April, 15 May, 15 June. Right? So 15 April, bank has to import because so May 1st, only the preferences are coming. By the time 15 May dawns, preferences have come already. So that means that 1.5 months, the bank has to grant loans. That means rounded up, it will be for 2 loans. So at least for 1.5 means you have 2 shippers, right? So therefore, the bank has to consider giving import loans at least for 2 import shippers. 50,000 into $2.1 million. Now the export bill purchasing facility. Export bill purchasing facility account will check. That is export bill purchasing facility. When the bank start to purchase in 1st May. 1st May. How much? 250. 250. And the tenor is 3 months. Tenor is 3 months. I think I had done a mistake there. I will tell you. I have done a mistake. I will correct that, right? Once I do this. So that will be another tenor, right? You must have noticed. Actually, this is earlier I have written right. It's 60 days. I'll correct that. Don't worry. I'll correct it. Now we'll consider on the bill purchasing facility. So EXBP, that is bank start to purchase on 1st May. Here 3 months. This is the 3 months that I have been here accidentally. So 3 months means June, July, August. 1st August, export purchases are getting realized to the master account. So until 1st August is 3 months. That is 250 into 3. 0.75 million. Bank has to grant, rather, bank has to purchase export bills at least for 3 export shippers and grant a facility of $750,000. Right. The mistake was here. The tenor of the user bill was 60 days actually. 60 days, not 90 days, 60 days. It's in the second paragraph, the last sentence. Q has to be imported under documentary payable at 60 days, right? I took it as 90 days there. 60 days. So we had to do a small correction here. For me, it's a small correction. For you all, it's a big correction because I can just erase it off here. So, and I'll drop the acceptance account once again. Right. Acceptance account. First, it's getting booked in 1st February. And it matures not 90 days, 60 days. 60 days from the date of shipment. So 15J is all right. But we took it as 90 days. It has to be 60 days. So 15th January to 15th February is 1 month. 15th February to 15th March is the second month. That is 60 days. So here has to be corrected 15th March, right? 50. Now you will see there's a outstanding for 1.5 months. 1.5 months. So you round up to 2 months and say 50,000 into 2. Now see, the earlier answer was right, here the answer was right, but you would have missed 1 mark because the base of calculation is wrong in there. Right, 50,000 into 2. Here, 1st February to 15th March is 1.5 months. So you round up to 2 months and give the acceptor facility for 2 import bills, that is for 1.1. So likewise, we will correct the loan account also as well. So still we have a till account 2 getting booked first 15 March 50, and that is getting null 1st May EXBP. So 1st March to 1st May is how much? That is 15th March. 15th April, 15th May. 15th April, 15th May. So that means again 1.5 months. 15th March to 15th April, 1 month. 15th April to end of April, that is 1st May, is a half a month, 1.5 months. Round up to 2 months, you end up with $1 million again. That is $50,000 into 2. 1 million, 0.1 million US dollars. Right. So I messed up a little bit. So, but you have to make sure that you do it correctly, right? So we'll have a quarter hour. So we'll touch the what you call the forex summons as well, as far as possible until the time lapses, and we'll continue from the next 3 course as well, the same paper, and we should be able to do another paper next time. So question number 6. Right. Calculate the exchange rate. So for the forward exchange contract for the import, this is the base of calculation. Right. So the import link is on the second paragraph. So I will do the second paragraph, read the second paragraph, and do the export link. And if and we'll see how the time goes, and after that we'll proceed from there. Right. So Roman 1 is the import link, right? And make sure when you are giving the answers, you put the appropriate number here. That will not confuse the examiner. In order to manufacture the goods, they will have to import raw materials to the value of euro 200,000. The payment is to be made under LC. The shipment will be made 4 weeks. 4 weeks after the date of issue of the LC, and the goods and the shipping documents are expected to be received in Sri Lanka during 2nd week from the date of shipment. Right. So this is a site LC. Remember, if it's site LC, they need not say it's a site LC. But if a nuisance LC, they have to mention it's a nuisance LC, and also they should mention the tenor of the nuisance period also. Right. The payment is made under LC. That means site. the LC shipment will be made 4 weeks after the date of issue, and the goods and the documents are expected to be received in Sri Lanka during second week from the date of shipment. So therefore, the contract will have to be booked for 6 weeks from the date of contract, right? That should be written in the base of calculation. 6 weeks from the date of contract, which is for 1 month fixed and 1 month option. 1 month fixed and 1 month option. Right. So we'll calculate. Now this could be a good measure, even for the people who have discussed with me in the first session. When I'm doing, if you have a gray area, just make a note of it. Then I'll advise you how to come out of it. And if you can precise to say what is the thing that you need to understand properly, then I can advise. Otherwise, the way that you put the question, I can advise you to come for the revision also as well. Right. You have to do healthcare spot. It's under 55.30. I'm in the code right now. So I have 1 month fixed and 1 month option. So 1 month forward is 60 cents, option is 80 cents. So I will say add 2 months forward 0.80. That will be under 56. Okay. Euro to USD for 1.238 knot. So I have 1 month fixed and 1 month option. So I will say add 2 months forward at 2 months forward. $1.256 knot. 1.256 knot, right? Because 1.8 knot you have to divide by 100, right? So that will be 0.180, and you have to take another 0 here, because when you divide by 100, you have to move the decimal point 2 places towards the left hand side. So that means you have to put 1 0 there, 0.018. So that means 0.652. You can use the calculator, right? So therefore, the cross currency of the euro to LKR will be the product of that two, that is 0.2560 into 156.10. $196.0616. Right? And the question is actually calculate the exchange rate for the forward exchange contract for the import described. So you have to give the rate only. That is healthcare rate per euro. They are not asking how much of money that the customer, this particular customer, has to pay. right? If they ask like that, then you have to multiply this by the value of the shipment. Value of the shipment is 200,000 euro. You have to multiply that. But here they are asking only the rate. So this will be the rate. Right. So the other question now. Yeah. So we'll go for the export leg now. So I'm expecting some comments from you. If you understood of a note of saying you have understood, but if you have a gray area, if you think that you have to brush up a little bit, if you need to brush up a little bit, of course, all right, you can do a little bit of self-study and do it. But if you have clueless completely, then of course just make a comment so that I will keep a tag and try to follow up with you, right? Remember, I have only a couple of sessions from now, so try to grab from me as far as possible before I terminate the class, right? So export link. Right. So we read the first paragraph now. We have 12 minutes. Valid customer is an exporter of goods from Sri Lanka. They have received an export order to the value of 400,000 to be sent in two shipments. There are two export textiles. Sent two shipments from a buyer in the Germany. First export shipment. So we are in the first export. That is the only thing that I can do. First export shipment is 250,000 to be made during 13th or 14th week for the rate of contract. And it will take further 2 weeks to receive proceeds from the rate of shipment, right? So the contract will have to be booked. Contract will have to be booked 15th or 16th week from the date of contract. 15th or 16th week from the date of contract. That's how you write the base of the calculation. The shipment is made during 30th or 40th week from the date of contract. It will take further 2 weeks to receive proceeds from the date of shipment. Therefore, contract will have to be booked for 15th or 16th week from the date of contract. Right? Just a copyright from the previous sums. Right? Which is for 3 months fixed and for 1 month option. 3 months fixed and for 1 month option. 16 divided by 4. Right. So we'll do the calculation. USD to LKR spot and the export rate. Therefore, I will take 150.10 instead. Now I have 3 months fixed and for 1 month option. 3 months fixed is 130, 140. Option is 170, 180. So that therefore I will take and 3 months forward. 3 months forward, 130, 154, 40. Euro to USD spot. $1.216 knot. And 3 months forward, 0.026. 0.2420. The common mistake that you do, most of the students, is this. Right? They divide the, what you call this 2.6 knot by 100 erroneously. So make sure that you divide properly or do a the shifting of the decimal point. So therefore, cross currency unit healthcare is equal to 2.2420 into 154.40. $1.2420 into 154.40 gives me 191,7648. 191,7648. In this calculation, of course, I am using the phone. In this calculation, of course, I don't get a fifth decimal point. If I am getting a fifth decimal point, and if that is 5 or more, you add 1 to the fourth basis point. So this will be the second answer of yours. So that's all I can do. It just 2 minutes. I'm not that fast to do to another calculation of such within 2 minutes time. So I will leave out for you all, but don't worry, I will do it on the next session. But if it's too fundamental and too easy, just mention that also as well, so that I could shift to another area without doing the forex or the what you call or the revolving factory. Now you will appreciate the assignment that I have given are very much advanced, and if you can do that, right, this will be just a cake pop, right? So I didn't see any comments. Nevertheless, I will see you on next Sunday. If you want to make a comment, you can just comment. I have another 2 minutes before I hand over. And then for the reminder, first Thursday, we will have a revision for about 8 to 8.5 hours. Right. Before I go, I am making a small request from you. You can make any suggestion if you want with this another 1 or 2 sessions I do have. No. But remember, this class will go on till about end of October or somewhere, because your exams will be in November. I have finished my syllabus, right? The reason why is I rushed a little bit in early this thing, because I may have to, stop doing classes from next semester onwards, from this semester onwards, right? So one of the reasons that I put the revision was on the first. But you can make any suggestions so that I could, revisit the area that I have done. Or if you have a difficult, Shanak, you can feed me again and let me know so that I can adjust myself and do some homework and come for the next session. And if you think this forest sum is too easy for you, I can spend that time for another session. Likewise, you can advise me. So I'll give another this time mark actually, but you can make a quick comment. I will remember that and go. Otherwise, we'll wind up the class now. It's 3 o'clock. Tarushika, you have pointed out, no? 6 days, yes, I did see your comment. This is one of the reasons that I told you to keep some time, at least not a big amount, but in a couple of time, so that you can, reread the question and see whether you have plotted properly in the timeline, right? So that you can avoid such mistakes, right? Yes, yes. Thank you for that question. That is Sashini. Yeah, we can do some questions. Yes, next time I will do, because now when I'm doing the past papers, I will do the UCPOs as well. No, so I will give a weight for the UCP 600, but then uh, tackling the UCP 600 is all right. For every practitioner have to do that. For that matter, just for curiosity, I'm asking Sashini, are you in trade? Are you in the trade division? Or you are working in elsewhere? No, right. And nevertheless, I will do some UCP 600 question because that's the most complex area. If you can tackle the UCP question, at least half of the question, you have reached B plus mark, right? You have reached the B plus mark. So it's just a matter of little effort from there to get a distinction. So we'll do some UCP questions next time. Yes. Shanak, your side, and what do you want me to do?
Yes, Bernard, as she has suggested, UCP, some items with regard to UCP 600 will be vital, I think.
Yes, yes, yes. I did advocate that much, Janaka, for that matter, to do the UCP much, because sometimes the students get fed up of, when we do the UCP also as well. That is my pet area, all right. But when I do, that's very, very complex actually. But I will promise I will do some couple of questions so that you could attempt it. Yes. Just to have a pass mark around and flutter with little bit of a trade here and there and try to, like a trimming of hair, this will be suffice. But if you do the USB 600, that request is which shows the enthusiasm that you all have. If you can tackle the USB question at least 1/3 or the 1/4 of the question, and that attempted areas are right, then you will end up definitely with a B plus, provided that you have done the URC, then you have done the Ecoterms, and the MCQ only up to 6 points, right? Don't worry about getting the 10 marks in there, just 6 points. And the Forex, out of 20, at least 17, 18, and the revolving facility is 20 marks, then you are in the borderline of A. Right, then I'll get going. Then Shanak, I'll see you next Sunday, and others also. And okay, then see you then. Good, have a good evening. Gerald, thank you.